What's going on, everybody? It's TheNidien, and I'm bringing you some Dark Souls gameplay today. And this is just a tutorial area, but I thought it was really well done, and there's going to be a lot more videos coming. I'm going to do some live comms because this game is crazy. It's exactly what I expected. The graphics are beautiful. The surround, it just has that element. It always has your heart pumping because you never know what is around that next corner. You never know if you accidentally took the wrong turn until it's too late. It's always got you wondering. It's always got you thinking. And I've only been through, I've probably put in about 8 hours of gameplay so far, and I've only beaten the first 2 bosses. I'm making my way to the third. I'm having a little issue with a dragon, which I'll show you in my next video. But this game is absolutely amazing, and you can see it across the board on the reviews. It's getting 9, 9.5, 10 out of 10s all the way down the line. I don't even think I've seen anything lower than a 9. I'm sure somebody's got it out there that doesn't realize what Dark Souls is meant to be. But this game is ridiculously hard. It's relentless, and it gives you just that heart-pumping feeling 24/7. As soon as you put it in, you don't know what's going to happen unless you're playing through again, or you're going through the same area over and over again after dying 900 times. So, Dark Souls is up on me. I've gotten 2 wins with 2 boss fights, and I've gotten about 45 deaths between the 3 classes I've played. I've played the Swamp Pyromancer, I've played the Wanderer, and now I'm playing a Knight. I'm going to give the Knight a try. The Wanderer was okay, and I wanted to try the Swamp Pyromancer because it's got kind of like a melee mage type thing to it. But it wasn't what I expected, and I found myself trying to use spells more than keeping myself alive, and having to switch back and forth from spells was making me do things that I normally wouldn't do and end up in the long run getting myself killed. So that may be for like a second playthrough. I do have them up to like level 18 or 19, so maybe I'll just keep it right where it's at and move on from there as I progress into the board and find the little tips and tricks to get past certain areas a little bit easier, because right now everything's new. So when I come up to a new level, a new board, I don't know what to expect, and you gotta creepy crawl through the board and go from there. And what you see, I jump off because there's a boulder that comes down and smashed the crap out of me. I didn't know it was there the first time. It actually scared the crap out of me and dropped my controller the first time, but it's there. The second time I just decided to jump right off the stairs and avoid it altogether. But so the Pyromancer was a little awkward for me. I'm not saying that the gameplay of the class is bad at all. It's got a really cool concept behind it. But that's one thing that you also have to take into consideration with a game like this, is you can pick a starter class and then you can kind of mold it to your game style as you level. You can mold it and get its strength up enough and its dexterity up enough to use, like, say, a two-handed weapon, or be able to use heavy armor more proficiently, or swords instead of axes. And then you can learn healing spells, and you can find certain other people to learn the pyromancy spells and stuff like that. So you can mold your character to your playstyle as you go. So you don't necessarily have to stick with just, say, a straight knight defense. Then you can get your healing spells and become more like a offensive cleric type character. It's really well done. The graphics are beautiful. The scenery is beautiful. I have an issue with heights, and there's even some parts of this game where I've looked over a cliff and I've got that stomach swirl going on from being for heights, because it's all open world-ish. You have to be very careful because at any moment you can fall off a cliff. I mean, I've been fighting some mobs and took a roll the wrong way and rolled right off the cliff and ended up dying, and then have to go all the way back through again. So that's one thing. And if you're thinking about picking this up, I stress this game is very, very relentless, and it can get very frustrating at times. But when you beat a boss, like when I beat the second boss, I was hopping around, and I haven't had that in a game in a long time. Like, it actually excited me, and I was like, I finally got him down. I know what to do, and go from there. And and then quickly, right after, within 3 minutes, that excitement was cut right at the throat and dropped off into the trash can, because I walk right into a dragon who's breathing fire, one-shots me because I don't know what's going on, and everything else. So it went from joyous to back down to reality in a hurry. So you have to be extremely careful with this game, and you have to have the mindset going in, you're going to die, and you're going to die a lot. because it's inevitable. It's going to happen in this game. If you forget about a mob when you're going through and he comes up behind you and a couple just regular mobs pinch you in someplace, you can be killed in a hurry if they stun you. If you forget that there's a guy throwing fire bombs at you and you run into a couple, they take your health down. Your health gets whacked in a hurry, and that's one thing I can suggest. Right off the bat when you're leveling, pump Vitality to get your hit points as high as possible. I haven't found anything where my damage has been lacking, where I'm like, man, I wish I had a little bit more damage, until I got past the dragon and started fighting some of those mobs. Instead of 2 to 3 shots that it was taking me to swing on some of these guys, it was actually taking me 5 to 6 shots on sometimes with my Pyromancer. I haven't got there with a Knight, so we'll see if that's any difference. But there was a point where I might have wanted to start upgrading my strength a little bit instead of pumping Vitality. But at the same time, there's certain situations where I wouldn't have made it past that point if I didn't have that amount of Vitality. So that's one thing you got to take into consideration. Survival is key. If you can survive, you can whittle a mob down over time, but you can't take very many hits. You'll die a lot faster. So that's one thing to take into consideration. Also, you see as I'm fighting this boss, your endurance. Depending on whether you're wearing heavy armor, the type of weapon you use, your endurance swings down quite a lot faster if you're wearing heavier armor with a bigger weapon as compared to wearing cloth armor with a smaller weapon. So watch what you're wearing per your class. I mean, obviously I'm not going to stick a Knight in cloth. That wouldn't make much sense because it gives me more resist for plate and everything else. And then as far as weapons are considered, you got to look at your damage and look at your weapon speed. Weapon speed is a big one. You know, I may find a weapon that does 90 damage but swings at a 4.0. But and then I have a broadsword that does 82 damage that swings at a 2.0. So I'm doing double the damage effectively. You know, I'm doing 164 damage, and the same time I'm going to be doing 90 damage with the axe that swings 4.0. So that's something you got to take into consideration as well. I'm not exactly sure if you can speed that up through, you know, your class. If you become more dexterous, you can speed it up. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't gotten real far in the game. I'm still going through that extremely frustrating pages in the beginning of this game, but overall this game is amazing. And if you have a PS3 and you're looking for an RPG style game and you're looking for something that's difficult and extremely rewarding, I highly suggest you guys pick up this game. I recommend it 100%, 110%. I'm glad I went with this over Rage. I've heard a lot of good things about Rage, but I've heard it was like an 8-hour playthrough, and I already have probably 9 hours in the Demon Souls, and I've only beat the first 2 bosses. And as far as I'm concerned, they may be just mini bosses as far as I know. I'm not exactly sure. The next thing I've run into is a big armored boar from the trailer. If you guys have any of you guys seen the trailer, so we'll see what goes on there. I'm still trying to work my way through. But I'm going to get into a little bit of tips and tricks, and I can tell you, and I'll get in that in the beginning stages of my second boss thing, the little bit of what you need to buy before you move on. But that's what I got for you guys today. So have a great day. Keep your heads up. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.